Hi everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to our 4 for 4 series, and today is layout 4, which means we're going to play around with 4 photos. Yes, okay. So now let's start cracking on layout 4. Yes, okay. Now this will be the last layout in this series, but you know we're going to be working on some cards next. So when you pull your papers for layout 4, what will we need? Well, first of all, you're going to need your background paper. Now, at this point in the game, you would probably just have one left, but if you don't worry about it, because I have been using one for filming, but I still have 2 left. Why? Because I swapped one of mine out because it didn't fit my photos. I think that was layout 1, and so that's okay. If you need to swap something, you swap something. That's just the way you do it, okay? No matter if we're doing our backgrounds or our scraps or anything like that, you can swap anything out, because there's no sense doing something if you can make it a little bit better. Yes, that's what I always say. So for my layout 4, I will be using this ledger type because it goes along with my story. You know how I feel about how I am about the mood and feel, and so I will have this left over from my kit, and that's quite all right. I will use it on another page. Okay, so I just wanted to say that if you need to swap something out, that is what you do. Okay, so for layout 4, we are going to use 4 pieces of paper. So of course you have your 12 by 12 cardstock, and then if you're a 2-page gal, you know you're going to grab 2 of those, and you're going to grab 2 of everything we show. So for your first pattern, you're going to need your 1/2 by 12. Okay, and of course, you know, I had to use my cheat sheet again. There's no way I can remember from one day to the next or a couple days in between filming what my papers are. No. Okay, so number 2 pattern is going to be your 4 by 5.5. Okay, and then on your pattern 3, your paper 3, it's going to be the same, that 4 by 5.5. And then of course your number 4 pattern is going to be your 4 by 12. Now all of this information will be listed below, so you don't have to write anything down, just refer to what I have below. Okay, so those are the 4 pieces of paper we're going to play with, and I'm telling you what, love, love, love. Okay, now if you get to this point and you have all 4 patterns to here and they're in this size and you're like, I'm not really liking that, here's what you do. Okay, and here's the photos I'm going to be playing with, is that do not, and I repeat, do not grab anything from this leftover pile, because this leftover in the papers we cut are for cards, okay? So don't do that. What you can do is simply, you can see what you have any scraps left over from your 3 layouts. This is what I will be having left over. And then don't forget that if you had some sheets you pulled for matting, you may have that left over. Okay, and then also too, that bonus sheet. This was the whole purpose of putting a bonus sheet in this series with our kit, because sometimes this might not be your bag, but adding something like this may be. Okay, so don't forget to utilize that bonus sheet. And also too, if you pulled scraps, and remember we were playing with some 6 by 6 paper pads on this round. 6 by 6 paper pads. I mean 6 by 6 papers, okay? And also we had a pile of scraps. Now I did not use them in this class, in the class notes, because I want to show how 4 pieces of paper can stretch to 4 layouts. So, but if this isn't cutting the cake, don't be afraid to use something like your scraps, your 6 by 6, anything you pulled, okay? Just do not go into the cookie jar and grab these ones that's left over from our cut papers. Those are for cards. Yes, okay. And that'll just make your measurements go a lot easier in the next video. Okay, so now let's get cracking. I have my 4 photos here, and I have 2 in one size and 2 in another, okay? And I'll talk about photos in just a minute, because I'll show you why I picked something I did and something I didn't, okay? It's just something I do when I'm pulling photos for my layouts. Okay, so I'm very excited to play with this. This was at a fall festival we attended recently. Happy with that. Okay, so now let's get cracking on this bare bones design. What are we going to do? Okay, now in the last series we did of this round, I used 4 wallets, okay? So I will have that linked below, and you can refer to that if you don't have photos this size. Maybe you have them all 4 this size. That'll give you some more ideas, okay? But on this one, I have 2 big and 2 small, and I'm going to use them all. Yes, okay. So what can we do? Well, you know right off the bat, we're going to go in the middle, okay? I probably out of frame there. And we're simply going to go in the middle. So with this 1/2 inch piece, Okay, you could put it at the top or put them at the bottom, or guess what? Not even use it. Okay, it's up to you. Okay, this floral paper for me is less heavy than this paper, so I would put that at the top. But then again, you would go in the middle, and then you have these two pieces. What can you do? Well, you simply can come down here, and you can make a very simple page. I will never get tired of this design. It's so simple. So you can come here, and then of course with your 4 photos, depending on what size they are. You know, I have these, okay? And then, you know, I have my 2 bigger ones, okay? So I have to accommodate for that. So, but if you had 4 wallets, this is a beautiful, beautiful design. And again, look at that video from the first round, because that's exactly what I did with mine, okay? And then, of course, you can shift this down, okay? And then you could put these here. Oh, another pretty design, okay? Just with those 4 cuts, 4 simple cuts, you could absolutely do this after the series using scraps, and you can come up with so many page designs, okay? Now, you can absolutely take your photos in whatever manner. I'm trying to see which one. Oh, I have one in one orientation and one in another, okay? And of course, I'm probably going to be matting mine. And then that's how I would get 4 photos in, okay? I could put my title up here, journaling down here, or a nice title here, journaling up here. That's a really nice design, okay? Now, I want to show something with you 2-page gals, because sometimes I think you get left out, right? Because sometimes there's not a lot for 2-page. So say if you're a 2-page gal, this is what I would do for one type of design, okay? I would simply bring that 4 by 12 inch band here a little bit down to the bottom, put that other 1/2 inch band on top of that, and then I'd put these 2 4 by 5.5 right here. This would be your left page. And then your right page, and just pretend I'm going to slide this over, okay? This is the left. And I'm going to slide this over. Your bands are going to go right here, and then you're going to do that. That makes a very, now picture that right on the left. That makes a very pretty design and a very simple design, okay? So you 2-page gals, don't be afraid that whatever you do on the left is exactly what you do on the left. Or, you know, if you're doing something in the vertical sense on the right page, do it in the horizontal. That's another way to do that. Okay, so then of course that's at the bottom. So now let's do the electric slide. We're going up here. Okay, and we're just going to slide them up. And again, you can do the same thing. You can bring those here. You can bring them here. You can bring them down here. Or you simply could bring them up here. You could leave all this open. Okay, or again, you could get that bonus sheet out. I think I had a 4. Yeah, I had a 4 by 12. And you can bring your bonus sheet out and make that longer, but I'm going to talk about that in just a minute, okay? So you're thinking, well, these are kind of like boring. Well, no, you can also go like that. That is not boring whatsoever. No, so don't be afraid to play with these. Start with these 2 pieces here, okay? Because I have that 4 by 12 and that 1/2 by 12. Play with those 2. Put them if you want them in the middle, top, or bottom, and then play with these. Do you want them up here? You maybe could do one up here, one down here, okay? Now this, I have this in a directional. I have a design on here, so I'd have to pay attention how I put that, okay? But you could simply go like that too. Very, very pretty. Title here, some clusters here, journaling down here. Oh, fun, fun, fun. Okay, so now let's go to the vertical side of things, and we are going to, again, we could do our band design. Okay, now if this is not cutting the cake for you, that looks a little, kind of looks the same, but you could always put something on top of that band if you want to. And don't forget, you know, you have border stickers, and if you have scraps, you can make border strips. Yes, make your band as wide as you want, and then you could play with these, okay? You simply could put them here. Very simple, very simple, very pretty. You could stagger them, put them on top of each other. You could come down here, put it down this way. Oh, very, very pretty, okay? Or you could keep really everything in the middle and do that simple band design. But again, you can make this band. We can keep on going, girls. Look. We'll just keep on going with that band. Now, I'm just playing with my border stickers because it's easy. But then I could take some washi. Yes. Okay. I'm going to take some more washi. I'm getting crazy here, folks. Yes. And you see what I mean? You can make that band as wide as you want. Okay. So don't have any worries about doing that, okay? And then you could use your border stickers, border strips, use your scraps, use your washi, and then also, don't forget we had ribbon. Love this ribbon. and you could pay ribbon. So you could do all of those. Or you could put ribbon on top of washi. You could put ribbon on top of your border stickers, your border strips. No wrong way. I could literally just sit here and just play and play. But life calls our name, does it not? No, we can't have just sit here and play all day. But I love playing around when I already have pre-cut pieces. Absolutely. Okay, now with all of that, okay, now let me take all these extras that we added. I'm telling you what, once I started organizing my border stickers and border strips in the manner in which I use them, oh, I love these, okay? And at one time I thought about purging them all. Can you believe that? Yes, okay. So now let's go here and we're going to go to the very left in our vertical design. And again, you could put this 1/2 by 12 and make that seam covered again with a border sticker or washi or ribbon. Or you could simply put it on top of that, okay? You can play with that, okay? And then you have these two pieces. And then you could play with them in such a way like this, okay? That makes for a pretty page too. Now, if you're a 2-page gal, that would be pretty on the right, and then you would mirror image this on the left. That's very pretty, okay? That's more like a center design on a 2-page. Okay, so then also, too, don't be afraid that you could layer these, okay? They don't have to go in a linear fashion. You could come down here and they could be cattywampus, okay? Or you could put a cattywampus in the middle, okay? Or what you can do is also, you could cut these in half and extend this even further using those, say if you didn't want to use washi, you didn't want to use a border sticker, you didn't want to use ribbon, cut them in half, okay? Now you're going to be short a tad, but it don't matter, okay? Oh, that's very pretty. I love it all. I love it all. And again, don't forget, you also have that bonus sheet, okay? Because you simply could just say, I don't want to play with those. I have a bonus piece of paper that's going to fit better for my design, and that's what you do. You do not have to use every piece of paper that we set forth on this on this design. Okay, then of course what you're going to do is then you could come over here and do the exact same on the right side of a page. Okay, now if this 1/2 by 12 is not jiving, skip it. Again, you could use ribbon. Oh, I had some pretty, oh, this is all I have left of that green ribbon. So you could come here and put some ribbon here. That makes for very nice, okay? And sometimes I notice with ribbon, it's a little wonky, but when you put score tape on there, it honestly will work its way out. It really will, okay? And then you don't even have to do that, or you could come and put that on that side, make that band a little bit longer, come in a little bit, so we have like a design, you know, an image. We have some color here, and then these, and then we have these two. So again, you can make, oh, this is a very pretty design. We're getting into an L-shaped design here, okay? And so you could do that, and you could put 2 photos here, 2 photos here. Let's see, let me play with some photos here. Okay, so I have these, and then one's going one way, one's going another way. Yes. Now, this already has a white matting around. I don't know if I'm going to keep that or not. I just left it there just in case, but I will be matting these two. And then you could come down here, put your title here, and some journaling here. Very, very pretty. Oh, love that. So you can get 4 pages or 4 photos on a layout. Easy peasy. Okay, so now that was over 6 bare bones design. You could do that. But now with that, don't be afraid to pull out those scraps and those 6x6 papers, okay? So say if you had some 6x6 papers, let's just play with that for a minute. Now I'm not going to do that on my page, okay? But I just want to show how easy it is to use those 6x6 papers, okay? If you pulled them, now I would cut these headers off, you know, okay? Look at that. Makes such for a pretty design. You could cut them down a little bit, or you could simply leave them like that. And then, look at that. And so what do we have? We have a 1/2 by 12, a 4 by 12, and a 6x6 and a 6x6. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Let's just keep going. Beautiful. I mean, look how pretty that is. I mean, so you could take out this size. If this size doesn't work for you, don't be afraid to get some of those 6x6 out if you put them in your kit. If not, use some scraps, cut them in a 6x6. Yes, I just wanted to show that because I'm so itching to play with 6x6 papers. Because in a few days you will see an organizing 6x6 paper pad video. Yes. Okay, so don't be afraid to swap things out, okay? Also, this is a 4 by 12. If you don't like this, now this is multicolor. I will tell you, I struggle with that. So that's okay. I simply could swap it out for something like that, and that might fit my design better. So I simply could just even swap that out, okay? Don't be afraid of doing that. Okay, so now what will I be doing on my page? Well, I know my background design is going to have a pattern, so this may be a little bit busy. I don't know, but I will definitely keep a 4x12 piece of paper here. So this is what I go for, okay? So I simply could just go here, leave a little bit of header at the top, okay? And now one of these is going one way, one's going another way. I simply could come down here in this empty space. I could skip these, or I could use these to mat. I could use one to mat one, use one to mat another. Oh, that's very pretty. Or just go with one, and I could put my wallets on that. Okay, and then when you're doing a mat, don't worry that you can absolutely have a mat on 3 edges. I may not even have a mat on that side. Wouldn't matter. No, I could simply go that. Oh, I like that. Oh, I really do. Now I would probably swap these two out because this would be in sequence for me. Okay, look at that. Very pretty. And then, I could add some ribbon. Oh, I like this washi. I could put some washi here. Yes, keep on playing, Janet. Keep on playing. And then since I was at a fall festival, this would be really pretty if I could add that underneath here. So my point is, play with your photos, play with these 2 small pieces of paper, and see what you come up with. I mean, honestly, so pretty. I like that. And then if I had a title that would stand out on that multicolor may work. You know how I struggle with multicolor. Okay, now let's go to the vertical side of things. If I don't ruin this washi. Okay, and let's go to the vertical side of things and see what it would look like with 4 photos. Okay, just so we can get a visual. Honestly, just so I can play some more. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so now I have one photo going this way, one going this way. So I could put it like that, or I could put them over here, because I could absolutely utilize that white mat, or you could mat, because remember we pulled out some papers if you want to do some matting, and then I simply could put them there. So I'm basically doing a grid is what I'm doing. I'm basically doing a grid. That's what I'm doing. A grid with a band. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so that would be very pretty, very simple. And again, I could keep adding my border stickers, and I could keep making this bigger if I wish. I could simply take in my 4x12, that bonus. If I wanted to make that band bigger, I could simply do that. I could mat them. I could mat these 2 wallets again and these 2. Yes, very, very pretty. Like that. Very simple. Okay, so there's 4. Now, if you would have 4 by this size, and these 2 wallets would be bigger, you would have enough room to accommodate for that. So don't be afraid. And don't be afraid to stagger your photos to get them however you want. And that's what I do when I'm working on a layout. I won't adhere anything down until I know for sure. And then I will move these and play around. You could put your title here, journaling here. That's very pretty. Okay, so I need to stop there, or I will just simply keep playing and keep playing and keep playing. So don't be afraid on this layout 4. Don't be afraid to swap out things, okay? If something's not driving, because this is the last layout we're going to do. So use your favorite papers on this. Just do not touch it. Do not touch those ones we have left over for cards. And then you could use everything, not use something. It's up to you, okay? And then because, with your photos, you definitely want to also pull supplies. Like, I love this because we were at a fall festival. I think I'd like to pull in those fall leaves. So look at what you have left over and then use things. Oh, see, this has text too. Oh, that'd be pretty. You'll see when I pull my background, okay, that because this has to do with English and text and things like that. So you could definitely, oh, see, I'm playing again. Sorry, I'm playing again. You could absolutely see what you have and then see what supplies emphasizes your story and use them on this layout. Okay, so I will be back with my finished page, and then don't forget We also had our shape punches. Remember, we used that in layout 3. I used a shape punch, and then also too, we have our edge punch. So you could simply use washi on some cardstock, punch it out, which we did that on layout 3, and then keep making this band bigger if you want. Okay, so don't forget all these things we pulled out, and also too, all of our textures. Okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, I already know right here. This is what I'm going to use for my texture. Yes, because that goes with, that is the texture I'm going to use for my layout 4. Okay, I got to stop playing. I'll be back with layout 4. I am back with my finished page and absolutely happy that I got 4 photos on one page. Love when that happens. Yes, and I got some title and some embellishments, and my journaling's going to go here, and so it's all on one page. Love that. Yes. Okay. So what did I use as far as my cut papers? Well, I had switched gears a little bit, and I did not use my 1/2, and I only used a small piece of that 4x5.5 because it just didn't go with my mood and feel of my layout when we went to this festival, and my daughter had found this treasure. And so that's just sometimes what you do when you're making a page. It's okay to swap things out, and I really wanted to encourage that because I know some of you like pulling scraps, and some of you also pulled 6x6 papers. So it's okay to add to and also take away when you make a kit. Absolutely. Okay. So this is what I had left over, but I did use some of this for, for some embellishments. Now what happened is because this 4x12 is multicolor, I didn't really need all the addition of all this. Okay. And so and I'll tell you why. Because this multicolor has so much activity, and then my photos have so much activity. And if I kept putting on this and this and this, it just was, my eye just didn't know where to rest. So I had to take something away. Okay. And also too, I wanted to play with all my 3 elements of washi, ribbon, and a border sticker, and also too my punch and my embossing folder. And so I got them all on this page, and so I'll talk about that. So of course this multicolor here is nothing other than a 4x12 strip, and then I have a border sticker, and then I have my washi that I just put on cardstock, and then I added that beautiful antique lace type of ribbon. Very, very happy with that. And then, of course, I left that white mat around my photos because, again, my paper was so busy. I had to break it up a little bit because there's so much activity of this fall festival in these photos. And then some people will say, well, you have white and ivory. Yes, over the last couple years, I've embraced that. I don't even give that a second thought anymore. Nope, throw it out the window. It's kind of like wearing white before Easter. No one cares. No, absolutely not. Okay, so what I did was I simply put up my title up here on, I had some of that craft formatting, and so I took that and ran it through my embossing folder, and I just put my title on top of that with some wood veneer, Brad, and some wood grain enamel dots. Added a paper clip because anytime I talk about my daughter and English and literature and all that and college, I put a paper clip on there. And then this design, this background design already had this clock on here, so I didn't really have to do too much. I just added a little bit of embellishments, and I'll have some close-ups at the end, and a Brad for the center of the clock, and a date, and then also too over here where my journaling is going to go, because right there's my visual triangle. I also took a piece of that brown that I had ran through my embossing folder, and then I punched it. So not only did I use my brown paper for matting, I ran it through the embossing folder, and then I used my shape punch with that. And so then what I did was I just divvied those 2 pieces, that hexagon shape up here and here, and then that brought that brown into a visual triangle. And I just used that as a clustering base for down here. Okay, so of course you see I have some wood veneer and a visual triangle, and also, you'll notice where it says keep going, there's a semicolon, because a semicolon is absolutely what the treasure, the necklace that my daughter found at this festival, because it means something to her as a writer. And so then I use that semicolon in a visual triangle here, in front of my date, and then over here. Okay, because that's what this is about, is the story about this necklace and why that's her favorite button on the keyboard, or the favorite, what do you call that, button type of thing. Yes, it's her favorite key on the keyboard. I guess that's what you call it. Okay, so, and then of course what that means, and so that's what I'll be doing my journaling about. And that is where that's going to go. And so I will just, honestly, my journaling's going to go here, and that's about how much I have to say. And it's going to tuck right underneath that edge of that lace. Okay, so it doesn't look like it was misplaced. It'll look like it's intentional. Okay, so then of course I added a couple photo corners here to give a little bit of balance and a stopping point here, because otherwise it just looks like those photos run off the side. And then I also put in some word labels, again with that visual triangle. And then with this piece of orange, which was my number 3 paper, I just used my edge punch. Again, I was breaking out everything on this layout. I used my edge punch, and I got that decorative edge here, here, and here. Again, visual triangle. Yes, can't say enough about that visual triangle. No, absolutely not. So that is what I did for my layout 4 with my 4 photos. I absolutely used a border sticker. I used washi. I used the ribbon, okay? And then I did the fall theme of my wood veneer. And then I used my favorite embellishments of my bread. And then I used my shape punch. Then I used my embossing folder. And then I snuck in my edge punch. Yes. So I just brought it all home together. Everything that was in that kit I utilized. And so in order to do that, sometimes you have to take away other things. And so what did I do? I took away some of this other pattern, okay? Because I wanted to get the texture in, and that's okay to do that, absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about a couple other things. And one thing I wanted to talk about was when I was printing photos, I had thought originally that I would use this photo. And then I wanted to show why I didn't use this photo, because this was a close-up image of my daughter and with the necklace in her hand, okay? And so if I would put this here, do you see how just because it's a close-up, it overpowered these other 2 photos? And sometimes that's what happens, excuse me, when you print photos. Sometimes if you print them one size, it looks too much, but then when you print it in another size, it fits perfect, okay? And it's because of the way the images of my daughter's hand in comparison to that necklace. It just looks huge, okay? And it's just a woman's hand. It's not that huge, but in the image, it looks so huge. So if I would put that there, that's all you would see was that hand, okay? That's not what the focus was, okay? So that's why I scaled it down, and then I just included 2 images of it, okay? With her when she bought it, and then when she's wearing it, okay? So sometimes if an image just looks too big, sometimes your photo can overpower what your story is. It's just because of the way snapshots are taken, okay? So just keep that in your mind. Okay, so now let's talk about leftovers, because, you know, this is layout 4 and we have leftovers. I'm so sorry. So with these leftovers, I'm definitely going to keep them in a pile away from everything else, because I don't want to mix these in with my cut papers that I'm going to use for my cards. So do not mix them up if you have some extras. I'm going to just keep them to the side. And so of course this was my wax paper that I was working with this layout, and I have brads and I have an enamel dot. So all this stuff will just get put away, and I simply can just put my stickers back on the sheets. Sometimes you can absolutely put stickers back on the original sheet. And here's some was this crepe paper or fancy pants? I can't remember. And sometimes they'll go right back on the original sticker sheet with no problem whatsoever. See, and that's what I would do. I just simply replace those, okay? And so there's, because they are, you know, belong with the sticker sheet, so they go right back on, no problem whatsoever. Okay. So that's what I'll do, and I'll put my brads away, okay? Because I love my brads, yes, okay. And then also, too, remember, I had my bonus sheet. I did not even use a single piece of my bonus sheet, and I'll tell you why. Because in my matting, I had brown, so that's what I did, because I ran that through my embossing folder. So that's just probably why I didn't use it this time, but that's okay, because I used everything else, yes. So I think that's what I needed to say, other than, don't forget, oh, I want to talk about one more thing. Remember when I was putting this kit together, and you may find this too when you get to the end of layout 4, there are just some things you didn't touch. And so remember, I was so excited about these 6x12 sticker sheets that matched my papers very well. I didn't use a single one. a single one. And I would have thought for sure I would have used something on there. It's just, you just never know. That's why it's good to include options in your kits, because sometimes you'll use what you think, and then other times you use things you didn't even think you would use. So that's why it's good to have options. Okay, so don't stress about it and don't worry about it if you pulled things for this kit and you didn't even touch it. We only did 4 layouts, you know, so you can't use everything on just 4 pages. However, we have cards coming up, so maybe we can look at those supplies we didn't touch and use them on our cards. Okay, keep that in your mind. So I think that was all I needed to say, was just this. And here are my scraps I'm keeping in a separate pile for my cards. So that means come back tomorrow and we're going to get card crazy, ladies. We're going to do some cards. Okay, now they're not going to be anything hard. They're going to be simple cards, but they're going to be pretty cards. Okay, just in time for the holidays to mail out. Okay, so come back tomorrow for our card series, you know, for the cards in our 4for4 series, and come back to RTS, because you never know what we're going to learn. Bye.